I just want to get a few things on the record before I start with my analysis of the Luton Arsenal game. First thing is, when Arteta came into Arsenal, the moves he made, the decisions he made, I was very confident seeing him make his choices and see him coach and see the formations that he would throw out there. And I have always been an Arteta man. I've always been confident. And it's funny that I'm starting this right now because there's one decision, maybe two decisions that he's been making that I almost completely disagree with. And I just want to get on the record that I've always had his back. I've always loved his mind when it comes to soccer and the decisions that he's made. I'm saying that because I will be criticizing a few things that choices he's made this year. I'll just throw it out there. The Raya Ramsdale situation and also the Havertz move. I'll also say that last year, at the beginning of the year, I had very high hopes for Arsenal. I've had high hopes for Arsenal the last 4 years. 2 seasons ago, we were just knocked out of Champions League contention. And then last year, we sadly came in second place, undeservedly. When the beginning of the season started, I wouldn't have said anything. But in week 2, week 3, I confidently would have said that we are title contenders last year. And this year, confidently title contenders. And right now, I will say we're going to win the league this year. And if we don't, that's a disappointment because we deserve to win the league. Because I believe even last year we were top 5 teams in the world. This year I believe we're top 3. And I don't really watch soccer outside of the Premier League, so take that with a grain of salt. But that is my conviction. That's what I believe. I believe Arsenal is one of the best teams in the world, and we will easily be one of the best teams in the world in the coming years. I heard a lot of talk about man of the match. Some said Jesus, some said Rice. I didn't hear much more outside of that. My man of the match, I would give it to Gabriel Jesus, and runner-up, I would say Martin Odegaard, because of how he kept his composure in the final minutes. But Jesus, I just rewatched the full match, and Jesus is a workhorse. And I don't know if he's always like this in every game, but against Luton, he was putting his shift in. He was not really resting. He was winning second balls. He was winning headers. He was winning balls he shouldn't have won because of his aggression. And he scored a goal. He got an assist. And he was very crucial for us to win that game. I would say the only thing keeping us from being a top team like Real Madrid, we don't win games in the first half, as I guess I could say. A lot of the time we have to win the game at the end. And Saka had a quote where he said, he was questioned about all of our late minute goals, and he said, as long as we're winning the game, that's all that matters. So that was vaguely what he said. And I agree, but I think to become a top team, you're going to start winning these games in the first half, especially against the lower seeded team in the Premier League like Luton Town. So what I want to say as well is that what I've seen in Arsenal fans is that they are very short-sighted. And this is something that comes with technology, with the internet. You can voice your opinion readily. And I see a lot of opinions that I don't agree with, so I want to, on record, put my opinions out there so that they can be seen. And it's probably just an ego trip, but I also want people to be more knowledgeable. What I heard people saying, and as we go, I'm going to bring some stats in about the Ramsdale Raya situation, and I'm just going to talk about what I saw from most of the players on Arsenal from this game, because there's a lot of talking points between Havertz, Odegaard, the way people felt of Kiwior's performance. So I just want to bring that all to the table, lay it out, and hopefully you get some information, and hopefully we have a great day moving forward. So what people were saying about Havertz specifically, we'll start with him. And I will go on record and say I'm not a big fan of this situation with Havertz. I don't think he's brought much to the table. My opinion that I said a few weeks ago is that I don't think he's going to score more than 4 or 5 goals this year. I think he has 3 Premier League goals. So everyone was saying that he had a great game, as well as the announcers. And on my second watch, I realized that what I saw from him on the ball was not a great performance. It wasn't even a good performance. Another opinion was Saliba. People were saying that Saliba had a poor game. On second watch, Saliba had a really good game. Not poor, not good, very good. Also, people said that Ben White was poor. His performance led to 1 or 2 of the goals that we scored. He also allowed 1 goal in, the goal that went under Raya's feet, and you can blame that goal more on Raya than on White, which is true. But his defending for that goal was lackluster. And then people also said that Kiwior was poor, and Kiwior plays almost no games for us. I really like him. I like the energy he brings, his athleticism, and he's a pretty smart soccer player for his age. And this game actually, in my opinion, was a standout game for him. He played very well. You don't notice it, or I didn't notice it on first watch, but rewatching it, he made tackles that led to goals that we scored as well. And then we also have the Raya Ramsdale situation that I will get to. First, let's go to the goalkeeper situation. The only game that Ramsdale has played in a while was against Brentford, because Raya is on loan from Brentford and he's not allowed to play that game. In that game, we saw Ramsdale very uneasy, very shy, nervous. If you couldn't see it in his body language, you could see it in his distribution of the ball. He was nervous every touch he get, and it led to loss of possession and a few shots which he saved. He ended with a clean sheet, and the second half was a lot stronger than the first half. His attitude is unnecessary because of the situation that Arteta has put him in. He's shy, he's nervous, he's not the Ramsdale that we saw last year. But he still kept a clean sheet, which is big. I hope that next game he plays, because Raya cost us almost 2 points, and he cost us at one moment 3 points, and made two big mistakes that goalkeepers should almost never make, and he made 2 of them in one game. He's the reason this game was as tight as it was. Our defenders played very well, minus GABRIEL in my opinion, and I'll get to that as well. But Raya had a bad game, and you're going to have bad games, but when you're put in this situation where it's you against this keeper, and I don't know what's going on in Mikel's head around it. He probably just wants Ramsdale, but he's being very PR in terms of how he speaks about the situation. And you could tell he doesn't want to talk about the situation in his press conferences as well, which is valid. I wouldn't want to say to a keeper that almost won the league with me last year, I don't think you're as good as this guy, and we're trying to get rid of you. I wouldn't want to say that either, which is tragic, and I love Ramsdale, and I hope that doesn't happen to him. All I hope right now is that Ramsdale gets another opportunity next week against a very strong Aston Villa team, and hopefully he can make his mark. And I think he shows up in those big games as well. I'm saying that fully confident that he'll show up, and aware that he may have a terrible game as well because of the pressure that's on him. I want to get to some stats. So this year with Ramsdale in goal in the Premier League, we have 4 wins, 1 tie, and no losses. He has 8 saves in 5 games and 2 clean sheets, and he has allowed 4 goals in 5 games. With Raya, through the first 5 games, we have 3 wins, 2 ties, and no losses. He has 1 more save than Ramsdale, 9 saves in 5 games, and 1 more clean sheet, 3 clean sheets. He has also allowed 4 goals in 5 games. The whole season for Raya, he has 16 saves in 10 games, and he's allowed 10 goals in 10 games. Our record under Raya through 10 games is 7 wins, 2 ties, and 1 loss. The save percentage this year in the Premier League for Ramsdale is 66%, and for Raya is 59%. All right, so now let's get to the players against Luton. I'm going to start with Havertz. So from what I saw, he was very confident at the start. He was winning balls. He was dribbling well. He has that confidence because of these recent goals that he scored. After that, I didn't see him do much. I saw him tackle a few times, but on the ball, he did nothing. And towards the end of the game, when it mattered most, he missed headers, he misplaced the ball, and apparently he was brought in specifically for headers, and he had about 4 chances with his head, and all of them he didn't finalize on. There was a specific moment in the 81st minute where it was some great build-up play. Crossed in to Havertz, who on the replay you could see had all the space in the world, all the time in the world, but he puts his head down too early and the ball flies over the net. Should have been a goal. And you put, I believe, any other player on our team in that situation, it's going to be a goal because of how perfect the delivery was. So to me, Havertz had a very poor game, and everyone was saying he had a really good game, but he just didn't. Now, Odegaard, oh man. Odegaard, in my opinion, possibly was the man of the match. He had a tackle in the 9th minute. It led to Saka. I wrote his work rate was incredible. He made a tackle in the 18th minute in the opponent's 3rd. But really, when it came down to it, Odegaard showed up in the end of the game. So I just want to take you guys through a little bit of the ending with Odegaard specifically in mind, and I'll just discuss my notes right now. So Odegaard, his distribution was really great down the line. He passed to Havertz with a great through ball to Trossard, who in my opinion when he came on brought the energy, but his final touch wasn't there, and he had one of the worst games for Arsenal that I've seen. Odegaard was composed. He left the ball for Trossard, who nearly scored in the 87th minute. The shot on the ground just wide of the net. Odegaard had a huge tackle in Arsenal's final third in the 89th minute to win back possession. And then Ben White had a great pass to Saka, who made a run in the 90th minute, delivered by Odegaard. This is all in the last 10 minutes. Odegaard, I wrote, was bossing the midfield and leading to crucial passes. He had one pass that he tried through ball to Havertz that was just a tad short in the 91st. Odegaard passes it to Rice, who passes it to Saka, who passes it to White, who kicks it, and it goes out for a corner from the 94th minute, all started by Odegaard. There's a minute left, and what I wrote here was that Arsenal felt very rushed in the last 15 minutes. Even though they had slow build-up play, it never felt like they were scoring. And in the last minute, Trossard blocks the ball, it goes out for a throw-in. And you can notice that the ref is looking at his watch because the Luton player is taking a long time to get to the ball. So this moment added an additional maybe 20 seconds. And so when we had the ball at the top of the box, we had a little bit of time to play with it. Gabriel had a crucial tackle. He won because Odegaard and Rice pressured the ball. And Trossard wins a free kick in the 96th minute. So here it is, ready? Everyone was talking about Ben White having a bad game. No one was giving Odegaard the credit. Everyone was easy to give Rice man of the match. Rice had a good game, not a great game. He scored the winning goal. But listen to this. Ben White has the ball. He passes it to Odegaard. Odegaard passes it to Zinchenko, who passes it back to Odegaard, who crosses it in to Rice's head, who scores the goal in the 97th minute. Odegaard with the crucial assist. Rice scored it incredible goal. But we can't forget Odegaard's contribution to that. And I believe that we kind of have. And I also believe we kind of valued Odegaard's performance in this game. He was everywhere the whole game, and when it mattered most, he delivered. Rice, I don't even have notes on Rice. He played a good game. He was relatively quiet. When it mattered most, he scored, and I'm grateful for that. But I don't really have many other notes on him. I want to talk about Kiwior for a moment, because he doesn't really get a lot of playing time, and even when he does, I think Robbie from AFTV gave him like a 4 out of 10, maybe a 5 out of 10 for his performance. It's actually embarrassing because his performance was a 9 out of 10. My notes say that he played well and he was confident through the first 10 minutes. He delivered a great cross to Jesus from the left side of the field. Jesus chested it down to Havertz, who took a shot in the 22nd. And then he had a header into a dangerous position that led to a pass from Odegaard to Jesus for a shot in the 28th minute that led to a corner. He made a tackle in the 30th minute, and then a crucial tackle in the 40th minute. And then a tackle in the 42nd minute that led to a possession of Arsenal's. And he had a headed tackle in the box in the 47th minute. Kiwior took a shot that almost led to a penalty in the 53rd because he was tripped on the edge of the box after his shot. They saw nothing in it. And then Kiwior wins a header from a throw-in to Odegaard, who passed it to Saka, who passed it to Jesus, who lobs it over to Havertz for a goal. So the goal that tied the game, I believe, in the 60th minute came from a Kiwior header. So Kiwior tied the game. He led the possession that tied the game. And then Zinchenko was subbed in for Kiwior. And the comments on Kiwior's behalf was that Zinchenko will give more attacking that you've lacked on the left side. In this game, apparently we've lacked attacking on the left side. So that was just a very poor take on behalf of Kiwior when he got subbed on. And now let's talk about Jesus. My man of the match. What an incredible game. What an incredible performance from Gabriel Jesus. I'm really going to pay more attention to him and the things that he offers moving forward, because it was beautiful to watch and inspiring. I'm just going to go through a few of the moments that he offered. So he came to the ball around the half and is fouled in the 11th minute. So I think he tackled and won a possession, and then is fouled in the 11th minute, gets a possession for us. The first goal came from a great throw-in from Jesus to Saka to Martinelli. Jesus, quick thinking, beautiful throw into Saka. Our first goal comes because of Jesus. Jesus tackles and runs into the midfield in the 31st minute, passes it to Martinelli, and it could have been a goal right off of that. I think it may have been deflected by a defender. Jesus gets the ball again, passes it to Odegaard, who takes a shot, which is blocked in the 32nd minute. Like I said before, his work rate was incredible. Odegaard and Jesus' work rate, phenomenal this game. He wins the ball from Gabriel on a free kick down the sideline, a ball that he shouldn't have won, but because of his work rate, because of his passion, his hustle, he gets it, and it results in play in the final third in the 34th minute. He also scores a goal and gets an assist. Saka had a very quiet game. I don't really need to speak on him. Martinelli as well. And now let's talk about Saliba, who was very highly slept on. He had two very strong tackles in the box in the 14th. He had a ball clearance in the 15th. Saliba had a big header that won possession in the 70th minute. He had a tackle in the 72nd, and he had a header to White, who kept possession in the 73rd. Just very big, small, what seemed like small moments, tackles, but led to very high percentage of possession and led to attempts on goal and ultimately led to a victory. Ben White also was very highly criticized. He lost the ball in the 18th minute, which was not a good moment for him. But in the 42nd minute, he tackled the ball, and this led to Martinelli being fouled and Ross Barkley getting a yellow card. This led to Rice passing it to White, who passes it to Saka, who gets it back and passes it to Jesus for a header in the 45th minute. All because of Ben White, we scored our second goal. And then Ben White passes it to Jesus, who's fouled in the box in the 70th minute. Could have been a penalty if there was just a little bit more contact. It could have been another goal led by Ben White. Now let's talk about Gabriel really quick. He was the only defender, I believe, that had a poor game. And there was a moment where on the first goal, Martinelli was guarding Osho, who scored the goal. Martinelli is not a defender, so we cannot blame the defenders for that goal. The only issue is Gabriel misreads the delivery, and he misreads where the ball is going, and so he does not put his head on the ball, which he easily could have because he was not guarding anyone. So you can blame him for that goal. And then Trossard and Zinchenko come in, bring a lot of energy on the left side of the field, and they come in and you see their chemistry that they have with each other, which is a beautiful thing to see. That we have two substitutes that can come on and have 100% chemistry like their starters, because they do start some games. Trossard, in my opinion, is very highly underrated. He is almost in the conversation of world class. That's how disrespected he is, because no one talks about that. Whenever he comes on, he creates multiple chances every single time, and he puts a lot of them away. And Zinchenko is distributing the ball very effectively in the 68th minute. And I want to talk about Arteta for a second. In the 70th minute, you can hear Arteta scream, "Movement, move the ball." And right after he says this, Saka passes it to White, who passes it to Odegaard, who passes it to Saliba, back to Odegaard, who makes a run down the middle and passes it out to Saka, who passes a through ball to Trossard, who loses the ball because he didn't have that final touch, but it's retained by Rice, who shoots the ball for a corner deflected in the 79th minute. It's beautiful how you hear a moment of Arteta movement, just a simple demand movement, and it leads to a corner in the 79th minute. And then they were quoted, the announcers, as saying, Arsenal's most sustained use of passing and possession up at around that point. Arsenal had way more possession after the substitution of Trossard and Zinchenko. Very good decision-making from Arteta in this game. All praise to Arteta. Hopefully he makes the right decision with Raya. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed hearing my opinions on things, and I will definitely bring more of those to the table as we continue. Go Gunners, best team in the world.